Very good morning, 7th standard. I welcome you all in our English class. So today we are going to start with the new chapter, chapter 6, that is I Want Something in a Cage. And the name of the writer is by, can you tell me the name of the writer? Yes. Please let me know the name of the writer. That is L. E. Rees. So he is the author of the chapter I Want Something in a Cage. Yes, Namanjot, just let me know who is the author of the chapter. I Want Something in a Cage.
Ma'am, the answer is Ali Grease.
L.E. Grease. Very good. That's nice. So, students, I have drawn a cage here, which is representing the name of the chapter as it suggests. We can see, okay, mostly what people are doing, they put animals, they put birds in a cage. Yes. So, here in this chapter, when you read the name of the chapter, it is I want something in a cage, but it is very strange. Why you want something in a cage? Do you want something in the cage? Do you want something should be there in the cage? Yes.
No, ma'am.
Yes. Naturally, the human beings, the animals, all the human beings, or we can say all the aspects what are made by God, they don't want to be in a cage. But the chapter is telling you, I want something in a cage. That is very strange. So, what is there in the chapter which is telling us that I want something in a cage? Because nobody wanted the world that something should be there in the cage. So, here, this is a story about a person who had spent his 10 years in a prison. He is a stranger here in the chapter. The name is not given of the stranger here, but they have described this man has passed his 10 years in a jail or was in a prison. So this prison was just like a jail for him, just like a cage for him. And he didn't wanted that life. He didn't like that life. That is why he went one day to a shopkeeper, and the name of the shopkeeper is Mr. Purcell. Mr. Purcell. What is the name of shopkeeper?
Mr.
Mr.
is
Yeah,
the name of the
Mr.
shop.
Purcell. Yeah. So here, Mr. Purcell is the protagonist of the chapter. So protagonist means right here, Mr. Purcell. He is the protagonist. Protagonist of the chapter. So what do you mean by protagonist? The main character. What do you mean by protagonist?
Main character.
Main character of the chapter. Mr. Percy. So he had a big shop where he used to keep animals, some birds, some other creatures in a cage because he had a business of that, selling birds in the cage. And moreover, along with selling birds in the cage, he used to give advice to the customers that how you have to take care of the animals when you are taking it home and how you are going to feed the birds and the animals are going to take at home. So, Mr. Percy, in your book, can you show me the picture of your book? You're going to recognize because two pictures. So here, Mr. Purcell is an old man, red cheeks, melon stomach. So here they have just given a funny appearance of he had red cheeks and tight melon stomach. So melon, it's a name of fruit. You know, melon is a name of fruit. So just like a melon, he was a bit, we can say, stout, a fat person. Do you know what is stout? Stout means a fat person. Can you see his stomach? It is looking like a melon. Do you know the fruit melon? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So
Yes,
now we
ma'am.
can see the person's appearance. So he is an old man who has red cheeks and a tight. Just point out on the book now. Now tell me who is Mr. Person, because I have described his appearance to you. There are two pictures on your book. So just let me know by pointing on your book that who is Mr. Purcell. Yes, Srishti is right. He is Mr. Purcell. Now will you please describe him as I have already described to you? Yes, Srishti, describe. Yes. Deepika, would you like to describe?
Ma'am,
Yes,
he's
Srishti.
an old man, and he's an old man, and he has red cheeks, and ma'am, his stomach is like a melon.
Yeah, his stomach is like a melon. He's a fatty man. All fine. Now see another picture. Another picture, the man who is wearing brown colored blazer, and I think he's wearing one suit. This suit is not that much new also. He is not looking so handsome also here. He's looking quite weird kind of person. He has a strange look also. And when he entered in the shop of Mr. Purcell, because he wanted something there, so when he entered in the shop of Mr. Purcell, Mr. Purcell felt some odd smell in his shop because he came from prison. And when he was there in prison, it might be he was not that much hygienic over there. So when he entered in his shop, so he felt something odd smells, and that smell is described with the word we can say here musty smell. What kind of smell? Musty smell. Yes, when he entered in his shop, that strange person, musty smell means unpleasant smell, uh, which we can say a person has come just like from a haunted house and the smell was coming like that. It was not a good smell when that strange person has entered in his room. So there are totally two characters in your chapter, Mr. Purcell and the stranger. So how many characters are there in the chapter, Namanjot?
Ma'am, two.
There are. Very good. Can you tell the name of those characters?
Yes, ma'am. And one is the owner of the shop, Mr. Purcell, and one a stranger.
Yes, one a stranger. So now let us discuss in detail what is there in the chapter. I want something in a cage. The chapter is telling you I want something in a cage. It means there are some we can say characters. Which character is telling that I want something in a cage? Because nobody wants to be in the cage. Everybody wants freedom in their life. Yes or no? So we don't want anything to be kept in the cage. But why the person in the chapter? Now we are going to find out who is telling that I want something in the cage. Whether it is told by Mr. Purcell because he is selling the birds, or whether it is told by a stranger because he came to buy something from his shop. So we are going to find out who is telling these words in the chapter. I want something in a cage. So now we are going to start with the chapter. I would like to call here Deepika. Just read the highlight of the chapter, which is written with the orange color.
Okay, ma'am. Mr. Purcell owns a pet shop. There is constant noise of screeching and twittering the shop, but Mr. Purcell is happily unaware of it. One cold morning, a stranger customer called.
Okay, so this is the introduction of the chapter, the first part, or we can say the first scene is started now. Suppose you're watching a movie and they are telling you the highlight of the first scene, what is going to be done in the first scene. So here in the first scene, they have told you about Mr. Purcell and they have told you about the stranger who is coming in a shop, and they are telling you about the appearance of the stranger also. Yes, is it so? So I think
Yes.
you have an idea now what is going to be done in first scene of the chapter. So now before discussing the chapter, let us discuss what is a prison and what is a cage and what is it meant for. Okay, so are you able to see the picture over here? Yes. Uh, Deepika, will you please describe what you see in this picture? Yes. Will you please describe what do you see in the picture? Deepika?
The tiger in a
Yeah.
cage.
We can see a tiger. Yes. Yeah, we can see a tiger is there in the cage and in the zoo they are just having their entertainment. They had come in the zoo to see the animals. And you see what tiger see here. Tiger, he doesn't want to be kept in the cage. So animals they don't want to be in the cage. We have some other picture. Can you see here? Yes, Rishmi, decide what to get.
Ma'am, here is an elephant in a prison.
Yeah, there is an elephant in the cage that elephant is dying because elephant also doesn't like the cage, the prison. Here we can see a good example for us. The people they used to go to the zoo for having their own entertainment. They want to see the wild animals because the wild animals cannot be kept at home. So they go to zoo to see the animals. Yes. So here tiger is the most fascinating or most dangerous or most beautiful animal on this earth. We can say the fastest animal, and people want to all the people they want to see that okay, we want to see tigers and they are kept in a cage and you see a life in a cage is no life at all. And the tiger is not happy in cage. Now, who will describe this picture to me? What do you observe in this picture? What does this picture tell? What does this picture tell? Yes, Rishi, will you tell us? What does this picture tell?
Ma'am, this picture is about a person who is in the prison, and ma'am, he is doing something.
Yes. Yeah, Beta, this picture, you just tell me your memories when you were at home. How do you feel? During the lockdown period, people were like that also. Yes or no? Our condition was like that, that we were in the prison and birds and animals, they were enjoying their life because they were not having any fear of the human beings or the pollution or anything around them which are going to scare them. So here, this picture is quite a good example of period of lockdown when we people were there at our home. And we were like that, we always were busy in our laptops or in our phone. And we were in the prison only because of lockdown, we could not go anywhere. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes or no? Yeah.
Yes.
So now you please describe what to tell you your own words. Yes, Deepika, would you like to describe?
And
Now,
there is
sure. Yes. Please describe this picture again to me. What do you feel about this picture? Anyone?
Mama, I'm Srishti. May I?
Yes, Srishti, you describe this.
Ma'am, here is a person. He is in the prison, and ma'am, like the birds are there during not the lockdown period. There was so much pollution. There was so many things that were not good for the animals, not for the birds, and we were cutting the trees. But some of them, there is no pollution during the lockdown period. There is no cutting of the trees, and there is very much greeniness around us during that lockdown period.
Yeah.
And we know the importance of the nature at that time.
That's very nice. A good description by Srishti. So this chapter is basically based on the theme freedom. Human beings and the animals all love freedom. They don't want to keep themselves in a cage. Here, the person in the chapter, that is a stranger who came after 10 years from the imprisonment and now he doesn't want anyone to be kept in the cage. That is why he has gone to the shop, Mr. Purcell, and there he told that I want something in a cage. And why he want that? Because he wanted to buy some birds from the shop and so that he can make them free forever. That is why he said I want something in the cage on. But there is the question, what did he want something in the cage? Did he want birds? Did he want some animals? Because Mr. Pulse was keeping so many things in the cage, so many animals, not like birds only. He used to keep monkeys, cats, dogs. You can see the pictures, and rabbits and some rats also in cages. Okay, so here he told him that I want something in the cage. Then he said, okay, you can have some rats and all. And he said, no, I want something in a cage which can fly, which has wings. Can you tell me what can be the things which has wings and which can fly?
Ma'am, a bird.
Yes, birds. That is why. So here, who is going to read a thought, a good thought, which is telling you about saving the animals and not to kill them and not to poach them? Are you able to read this thought?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am.
Now, you will be reading Naman.
Okay, ma'am. Animals have hearts that feel, eyes that see, and families to care for, just like you and me.
Say no to animals cruelty. So we should not be unkind to the animals. We should be kind to animals. This chapter is going to tell you about kindness towards the animals. So that is why we have written on the board that be kind to animals. Yes. So now tomorrow we are going to continue with this chapter. I have just given the introduction of the chapter. What is the chapter all about? By, can you tell me the author of the chapter? Tell me the name of the chapter, please. By
Name
Ali
of the
Green.
I want something in a cage.
by L.E. Griggs. So tomorrow you all should be ready with the queries. Like you are going to ask me the meanings of the words. I am not going to tell you directly. You should have your queries with you, and you're going to find out something different in the chapter which is not asked by others. Okay, so tomorrow we are going to read the chapter thoroughly. I had given you the idea of the chapter. So tomorrow be ready for the reading and explanation of the chapter. That will be from your side. You're going to explain because I had given you the summary of the chapter. So now you leave the class. That's all, student. Thank you for attending and listening.
Welcome, ma'am.